It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon in the sleepy town of Fairhaven, the kind of place where time moves slower and everyone seemed to know every me, at least on the surface. The sun hung low, casting golden hues across the sidewalks, and the occasional breeze rustled the oaks lining Maple Street. Officer Daniel Moore sipped lukewarm coffee from a paper cup as he watched traffic crawl lazily past the police cruiser parked beside a gas station. He wasn't expecting excitement today. Truthfully, he hoped it would stay boring. But just a few blocks away, inside Harper's Market, the town's only locally owned grocery store event was unfolding that would leave an indelible mark not just on the station, but on the town itself. He walked with a deliberate pace, steady but slightly uneven. A weathered olive-green army jacket hung from his shoulders, the edges frayed with time. His boots polished, despite the dust of the countryside hit the tile floor in rhythm with his subtle limp. No one really noticed him. Some glanced, but quickly turned their attention elsewhere. To most, he was just an elderly man picking up milk and bread. Another face in the quiet crowd. His name was Harold Whitmore. Few people knew much about Harold. He lived alone in a small, aging cabin tucked deep into the woods past Hollow Creek. He rarely came into town except for essentials. Some thought he was just a reclusive veteran, others barely noticed him at all. But Harold wasn't one to make a fuss or seek attention. He moved through life like smoke, silent, invisible, and always aware. That afternoon, Harold made his way down the bread aisle, carefully choosing a loaf with the least preservatives. He added a bottle of whole milk and a can of split-pea soup to his basket before heading toward the checkout. Ahead of him, a young man in athletic wear fiddled with his phone, then suddenly dropped something to the floor, a wallet, and walked briskly out the sliding doors, never looking back. Harold bent slowly, picked up the wallet, and looked after the man. "Excuse me," he called gently, but the man was already gone. He turned to the cashier. "Someone left this behind," Harold said, holding out the wallet. But the cashier didn't smile. Instead, her expression stiffened. "I saw that," she said coldly. Harold blinked. "Saw what?" "You picked something up from the floor." "Yes, the wallet. It belongs to—" "Sir," she interrupted sharply. "Don't lie. I saw you take it. You thought no one would notice." He frowned, puzzled. "I was trying to return it." She motioned to the manager, a balding man with a sour disposition. "We have a theft," she said loudly. The accusation echoed like a shot through the quiet store. Harold, unsure what to do, tried again. "I assure you, I had no intention." But before he could finish, the manager picked up the phone and dialed the local police. "Yeah, we've got a suspected wallet thief. Elderly male, army jacket. Still on the premises." Minutes later, 2 cruisers pulled up, lights flashing, but no sirens. Officer Moore and his partner, Officer Stephen Blake, entered the store, stone-faced. The manager pointed with a smug confidence. "That's him," he said. "He tried to steal the guy's wallet." "Sir, please turn around and place your hands behind your back," Moore said without hesitation. Harold's eyes widened. "Wait, what?" "I know I was trying to—" "Sir, now, I didn't steal anything." Officer Blake grabbed Harold's arm roughly and cuffed him. Several shoppers froze, some whispering. One woman started recording on her phone. Harold didn't resist. He simply exhaled slowly and let himself be guided outside, where he was placed in the back of the patrol car like a criminal. At the station, they removed his jacket and tossed it on a metal bench. Officer Blake pushed Harold into the holding cell, slammed the door, and smirked. "You know, stealing a wallet is a felony, old man." Harold said nothing. He sat on the bench inside the cell and folded his hands. His face showed no panic, no anger, no fear. Just calm. Maybe too calm. Moore watched him from outside the glass. "There's something off about him," Moore murmured. Blake snorted. "Yeah, like he's done this before." While filling out intake paperwork, Moore grabbed Harold's jacket to look for identification. In one of the inside pockets, barely noticeable behind the fabric lining, he found a hidden compartment and, inside it, a badge. Not a regular badge. It was a small, aged metal plate, embossed with an eagle holding arrows, and etched with the words, "United States Special Forces Clearance Alpha Level." What in the world? Moore whispered. Blake looked over, eyebrows raised. That's got to be fake. Moore rummaged through Harold's wallet. No credit cards, no cash. Just a military ID card, unlike any he'd seen. The photo looked recent. The design was unfamiliar. It had a number on the back, preceded by a government seal. Moore hesitated, then picked up the phone and dialed. One ring. This is Agent Rena Collins, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Who is this? Moore swallowed. This is Officer Daniel Moore with Fairhaven Police Department. We've got a man in custody, Harold Whitmore. We arrested him for suspected theft. Silence. Repeat the name. Harold Whitmore. Another silence. Then, secure the station. Do not talk to him. Do not ask questions. A team is en route. We'll be there in 30 minutes. The line went dead. Moore stared at the phone. Blake's face paled. Who the hell did we just arrest? Moore turned to look at the calm man behind the glass again. Harold looked up, met his eyes, and said, Might want to make some fresh coffee, boys. It's going to be a long day. Exactly 30 minutes later, four unmarked black SUVs screeched into the lot. Men and women in black suits emerged swiftly, each wearing badges around their necks. The air shifted. One woman approached the front desk. Where is he? Moore pointed mutely. They opened the holding cell, and to the officer's surprise, one of the agents saluted Harold. Mr. Whitmore. Sir. Apologies for the inconvenience. We'll take it from here. Harold nodded. They were doing their job. No harm done. As the agents led him out with quiet dignity, another remained behind. He faced Moore and Blake. Do you have any idea who that man is? They shook their heads. He served in 5 combat zones, participated in Black Ops missions so classified even our agency can't access the full files. He prevented terrorist attacks, dismantled rogue cells, and trained elite operatives overseas. He's a Medal of Honor recipient, but you'll never see his name listed publicly. Most people who served with him think he's a ghost story. You're lucky he's patient. With that, the agent walked out. Moore sat down, stunned. We cuffed a war hero, he whispered. A legend, Blake said quietly. And we didn't even let him speak. A week passed. One morning, a letter arrived at the station. It was handwritten in careful cursive. To Officer Moore and Officer Blake. We all make mistakes. What matters is whether we learn from them. Stay sharp. Stay humble. Harold Whitmore. Taped to the letter was a coin. A challenge coin solid, engraved with the Special Forces insignia. Moore turned it in his palm, heavy with meaning. That day, neither man spoke much. But from then on, whenever they pulled someone over or responded to a call, they looked a little closer, listened a little longer. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest stories. And sometimes the man you ignore is the one who once risked everything to protect your freedom. Harold Whitmore wasn't just an old man. He was a sentinel in silence. And now, the officers of Fairhaven would never forget what it meant to truly serve and protect.